So glad that you're here. I think it's very important to keep in touch with our constituents, and the best way to do that is through the press. And you continue to do an outstanding job reporting the news and information so that the people that live in Las Vegas are well informed about the issues that I think are important to the community, and they know what the mayor is doing and what is important to me. And what's important to me is what's important for my constituents. A few opening remarks I'd like to touch on because they're very important. You know, our Animal Foundation, it has many, many challenges, but the biggest challenge right now is overcrowding. We have 500 dogs and over 250 cats currently housed at the Animal Foundation. As you know, Animal Foundation has to take any pet that is dropped off, and honestly, I would rather have an unwanted pet dropped off at the foundation than left in the middle of the desert during these any time, but especially when it's so warm. And so I'm going to urge people that are listening to this press conference, and if you would suggest to people, if you're thinking about adopting a dog or you're willing to foster a pet or a cat, a dog or cat, please go to the Animal Foundation. This would be the ideal time to get a furry friend for your family, and it would be greatly appreciated by the city and by the Animal Foundation. As you know, we're getting into the 4th of July weekend. Please keep an eye on your pets. This is a time that a lot of pets are frightened by the fireworks, and they're going to bolt and run away from home because they're very worried. Please keep an eye on your pets. If you haven't microchipped them, please microchip them, so if they get loose and they're lost, we can return them to their rightful owner. But this is very important. Also, make sure that you don't leave your pets or your children in the car when it is so uncomfortably warm. No one can survive in a car that has its windows closed in this heat for any amount of time. Don't do that. Be careful with your children. Even if you're going to pick up milk at the grocery store, do not think it's okay to leave your child in the car, even for a few minutes. And that's the same with pets. The less suffering we have in this community, the better. So that's very important. Of course, we're going to have a big press conference on Thursday with the county that I'll be joining them regarding sane and safe fireworks. That is what is permitted in the city. It's what's permitted in the county. And don't use illegal fireworks. The legislature passed legislation. You could be fined up to $10,000 for using illegal fireworks. Just have a great time with the fireworks that you could purchase from, I believe, June 28th until July 4th, and have a very safe and sane 4th of July where we can celebrate the birth of our country. And I think that's very important, without any tragedies, without any fingers blowing off. Don't do anything foolish that you're going to regret for the rest of your life just because you're having a great time on 4th of July. You could have a great time on 4th of July without getting hurt. Another issue, of course, and this is great, there's going to be a number of celebrations throughout Southern Nevada for the 4th of July celebration. One, of course, I'll be in the Summerlin Parade, which is always a lot of fun. If you're coming, make sure you are dressed appropriately because it's going to be hot out there, and make sure that you drink plenty of water, especially over this weekend. It is going to be a hot one. Make sure also the city is hosting with Councilwoman Polensky, Councilwoman Bruni, and I have collaborated into Buckskin Park on the 4th of July in the evening. 8 o'clock, the doors open, or the gates open at the park. We're expecting about 20,000 people to see see the fireworks. They'll go off around 9:15. So bring the family, bring water, bring a blanket, and just have a really great 4th of July with your fellow citizens at the park. So I think that's very, very important to do. In addition to that, on July 4th, we don't know for sure if there's going to be another protest, No Kings protest in Las Vegas. Look, protesting is a part of being an American and a part of American life and our political process. I'm an old protester myself, and so we're not discouraging it. I'm just urging everybody to use common sense and use restraint. We don't want any injuries. I don't want the police hurt. I don't want the protesters hurt. Protest your hearts out. I mean, if ever there's a time in this country to protest, this would be it. But make sure you don't take it out on the police. They're doing their job. They're trying to keep the peace and keep everybody safe. So do the protesting. And of course, the police, I always urge Metro to use restraint and constraint when you're doing your job. Do the protests, and then everybody can go home and celebrate the 4th of July. And so I'm urging everybody to do that as well. And so, right, that's all I have to say. And now I'll open it up to Q&A. Ask me anything. There's no topic that is off the table.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi, Mayor Jasmine Wolk with CBS. Where do things stand with the Neon Museum move? Are you concerned about it moving into Clark County? And what are the chances it might move to Symphony Park?
I'm very optimistic. I love the Neon Museum. It's just, not only is it very much a part of our history. I mean, I know all those signs. I grew up with them, and seeing them displayed and having our tourists and our locals go and take a tour of the Neon Museum is wonderful. And I encourage everybody to do that. They are located in an area that is no longer conducive. They have 200, from what I understand, they have 250 signs displayed, and there are 900 in the warehouse. So they do need a bigger place so we could really show off our past. I believe that they have narrowed their selection of sites down to just a few. We are doing everything we can to encourage them to stay in downtown Las Vegas. Neon Museum does not belong, much as I love the county, doesn't belong in the county. It belongs in the city of Las Vegas, where tourists are going to come. They'll go to the Mob Museum. When the Art Museum is finally open, they're going to have another amenity, and then go see the Neon Museum and see a part of Las Vegas history. People, as long as they're located in one place in downtown Las Vegas, that's where they need to be. So I have encouraged them. Aaron and I are old friends, and I've encouraged him to stay in downtown Las Vegas. I think the last time I heard, the event center is under consideration. The Plaza Hotel is under consideration. Either one of those locations would be fabulous. So I'm encouraging them to stay home where they belong.
On a similar note, do you have a status update on the Badlands Golf Course?
Everything is as you know, it's settled after 9.5 years of ridiculousness, as far as I'm concerned. We have made the developer whole. And Lennar, as you know, paid $350 million for the property. It will be developed. As a matter of fact, I've already informed them that I would like to be among the first people to buy a home in where the Badlands once was. As you probably know, my husband and I live in Queensridge. Love the location in the community, and but I'm ready for a one-story house as opposed to a two-story. And I believe that we're looking at a 2 to 3 year time frame before they are selling houses. So all 1,440 of them that are planned for the Badlands. Very excited. A sign went up the other day, the future home of Lennar, whatever, and I'm very excited for that.
Mayor, shifting gears, you used to serve in D.C. What concerns do you have about the president's budget and the effect it will have here in Las Vegas?
We're monitoring that very carefully. A big, beautiful bill may very well be a very bad bill. We're concerned about Medicaid cuts. When I was in Congress, I was there during the debates and the vote on Obamacare. And the state of Nevada had one of the highest rates of uninsured people. Back in those days, I think we had a little over 2 million people population for the state of Nevada. 600,000 had no health insurance. When you have no health insurance, it doesn't mean that you don't get sick. It means that you wait until you're really sick and you end up in the emergency rooms of our hospitals, which ends up costing all of us money. I am very concerned about cuts to Medicaid. A lot of people in the state of Nevada depend on Medicaid for their health care needs, especially for the kids. I'm worried about programs like Meals on Wheels and SNAP and WIC, and programs that really make a tremendous difference in the lives of low-income families in our community and throughout the state of Nevada. And so we're watching this. Our congressional delegation knows exactly where the city of Las Vegas stands on these issues, and they're busy doing their job as well. But if it passes, I think we're going to be in for some financial blows. And as you well know, the state doesn't have money to make up the shortfall, and the city certainly doesn't have money at this time to make up the shortfall. So there are concerns about it, waiting to see what the final result is.
And Mayor, last question from me. Are you worried that Metro is going to go on strike after they threatened doing to those retirement contributions or other city employees?
Well, it doesn't make my life happier at the thought of it. Look, there is a state law that prohibits law enforcement from striking, and there's a good reason for that. In addition to that, a contract was signed. It was fully negotiated between the city and also the county, but the city and the police and part of that was contributing to the PERS, to PERS. Every city employee is, I don't think with exception, there might be some, including myself, are part of the PERS program. And it's known we're going to pay half, and the employee is going to pay half. If it was up to me, of course we'd be absorbing the difference. But the reality is that our PERS contribution went up $9 million. The city doesn't have $9 million. We have to make sure everybody is part of the PERS program for their retirement. And we cannot carve out the police to eliminate that part of the contract. Now, their contract is up in June 30th of 2026. If this is an issue that they wish to negotiate with the city, then by all means, that's part of the negotiating process. But right now, they're in the middle of a contract that they knew about and signed. Every other employee in the city is part of the PERS, and we're all paying our fair share. Don't love it, but that's what we're doing.
Did you ever encourage Sheriff McMahill to sign the 287G agreement with ICE?
No. We had many conversations about it. He signed it. It wasn't what we were doing already, and what Metro was doing already was essentially what is in what he signed. When somebody that's here illegally is arrested and they're in jail, it's our responsibility to notify ICE that they are there and they have X number of days to pick up this person. If they don't, they're released in the ordinary course. I thought that was an appropriate way of dealing with this. Metro's got their hands full. I don't want them doing the Fed's job. They've got to do their job, and they have plenty on their plate. And so I don't encourage or discourage, but that was up to Sheriff McMahill, and I supported his decision. And look, I don't want the feds in here. We're perfectly capable of good law enforcement with Metro. They do a good job. They work hard. They keep us safe. Every major crime is down in the city of Las Vegas, in the county, with the exception, I think, of stealing Hyundais. There was one other car that's really hot right now to steal. But other than car thefts, which is not a good thing, but other than car thefts, every other crime is down in Las Vegas. So let Metro do their job. Let the feds do their job. But the last thing we need right now is having federal interference in law enforcement. We do a very good job of patrolling our own.
And just to follow up, have you done anything to get Vegas off the DHS list after it was deemed a sanctuary city?
It disappeared. As you well know, one day we woke up and there was a list, and it showed Las Vegas as a sanctuary city. Now, believe me, if we were one, I would be defending our right to be one, but we're not. And I didn't think it was appropriate for Las Vegas to be painted with that brush. And so not only the governor, the sheriff, myself, we were adamant and very vocal about the fact that we aren't a sanctuary city. I understand there were a number of other cities on that list that were not sanctuary cities. I am sure that their leadership complained as voraciously as we did. And as a result, one day I woke up and the list disappeared from the website. So we haven't heard anything else about it. And I just stated the fact. We're not a sanctuary city.
Affordable housing is a hot topic in Las Vegas right now. Do you have a status update on what's going to happen to Marble Manor?
Yes, it's a success story. We got 50 before I got here. I don't want to take any credit for this, but we got a $50 million grant to renovate Marble Manor. Since I was a kid, it's been sinking, and there have been complaints about it. So we finally were able to secure funding from the federal government to renovate Marble Manor, where people have been living for decades. They're excited about it. We're excited about it. It's going to take a while, but it's moving along nicely.
Regarding our tourism numbers and they're dropping, do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, not good. Look, this is July. Summer is always a little slow in Las Vegas, but I have great confidence. I've lived here 60 years through the highs and the lows, and other cities have gaming, and it's going to kill Vegas, and then COVID. We overcame all of it. I have no doubt that we will overcome this. A little slow right now, but Las Vegas is the hottest place, literally and figuratively, hottest place in the country to come for a vacation and to come to a convention. So I am sure we will recover nicely. As you know, revenue is down a little bit. There aren't as many heads in beds, but temporary. We're going to be just fine.
Can you speak to specifically our international tourists and the trade war with Canada, since that's typically our highest tourism?
It's not good. It's not good. It's highly unlikely that Canada will become the 51st state in the United States. And I want Canadians to recognize that we love them. We want them. They're very much a part of our economy and our culture. And so I encourage them to please come back to Las Vegas, come back to other tourist destinations. We want you. We need you. We like you. And we welcome you. That's it? Okay. Thank you all very much and have a very happy 4th. Adopt.
Four wheels on a two-lane and we cutting through the night. Got your eye in my head and your love on my lips. Girl, I'm hugging on these curves like them jeans on your hips every time you have been